headlights. Don't have a mug. Don't have a mic. Don't have a mic or a mug. We just got to the studio. Good evening, Lauren. Good evening, everybody at home. Are we on? We are on. I think so. We're late, but we're here. We're doing it. Can't believe we're here. Didn't think we were doing a show today. We will sit down at the desk and tell you everything that's going on. There is snow on the mountain. Newcomb's is buried. We have our friend Mike up in Canada who's going to, I think it's going to be more of a crew show tonight, The missus may or may not join us. We are not sure about that. But Mike and I have a lot to talk about, and we're going to be catching up with you at home. So let's, without further ado, start that. Will, take it away. There's already people in the thing here. Good evening. It's just me so far. So far, it's just me, but I think the missus is going to be joining us. And all the way up in Canada, we do have this guy. And Irene Hoffman is present. We're happy about that. She also said, oh, Letterman Podcast. Yeah, you are. Well, we're all here. We're all here, and we're all doing it, everybody. Been a hell. What a week I'm having. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. There's a whole bunch of people in my life that are what a week I'm having right now. Energetically, I feel there's a heaviness out there, which is all the reason to do a show and talk about it.
I guess I'm with you. I feel like, I am sick of complaining. I know that. Yep. I'm sick of talking about bummer stuff, and that's a lot of what we have to talk about, which is a bummer. I get this weird hair here. Yeah. Good grief.
That's the least of your problems.
No, not the least of my problem. My goodness gracious. No, if that was the biggest problem, silly hair, God, life would be good. I don't even have a blue card for tonight's show because we didn't think we were doing a show until about 5 p.m. But it is Tuesday, February 28th, if memory serves, the last day of February 2023. Blows my mind. And we're here. Snow, blizzard, snow in Los Angeles. Like a lot. Newcomb's is under snow. It's under snow. Snow is up to the roof line, and then the roof line starts, and that's got snow on it. The only thing you can really see clearly is the flag, which is pretty cool. I mean,
did they close down Disneyland?
Say it again?
Did they close down Disneyland for snow?
Newcomb's is at elevation, so I don't think there was snow at.
Okay.
I mean, maybe on the Matterhorn. Yeah, it's the snow line. I think got down to around 1,000 feet, but the truth is, it was snowing at the Hollywood sign for a little bit, enough that it accumulated a little bit in the morning, and definitely throughout the rest of Los Angeles. The valleys really got it too, like Palmdale, out and further out in wherever that is, Mojave. I don't know. I think it is the Mojave. Anyway,
you Californians ain't equipped for that.
Yeah, well said. I mean, we usually have to go up to the crest for snow. You can't usually see it from here, which you can. If you go out to like our pool deck, you can look up at the mountains that we normally drive in.
Upon
the Sierra Madres. Yeah, and you can see all the snow. I mean, I'm sure you've seen. It seems like the whole world's talking about the snow in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's weird growing up with it from New England. Like, we're used to snow, so I know how to drive in it. I know how to deal with it. Nicole's the same thing, even though she's not so able to anymore. She's very familiar with it. And whenever we're driving around and there's other people who just don't know how to deal with even wet weather, rain in LA kind of slows things down. We're both just kind of like, what the heck is this? All right, sorry, Instagram. Let's bring you around here since it's just all of us tonight. Show here.
Where I'm from, Vancouver is like that. Vancouver usually doesn't get any snow. They just get rain. The temperature doesn't usually go below freezing in Vancouver at all. But when they do get snow, the whole city shuts down.
I don't know if I realized that. So it would be very similar.
Well, it's just wet. Like Vancouver and Seattle have very similar atmospheric complexions. And so, just lots of rain, very little snow. But the moment you get out of the coastline, then you get up a little bit, then it's, a traditional 4-season deal.
Right.
But Vancouver itself, when they get 2 or 3 inches of snow, they literally shut the city down because it's not built for it at all.
But you have the latitude to get snow. Is it the jet stream of how it flows, of why there's warmer air through there and you don't normally, or is it the altitude of the actual city?
I think it's the altitude more than anything. It's right on the ocean. The whole city is. And just because of that, and it's very mild. Like it doesn't normally get below freezing in Vancouver itself. But
that's my point, though. But why? Is it?
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Like, is it the jet stream? Because you have the latitude to be very, very cold up there.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you go to the eastern side of your same latitude, it would be very frigid cold.
Yeah, definitely. Like above New York, along the coastline there. Yeah, it gets
totally what I'm thinking
very
of.
much
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Honestly, from Quebec all the way out to like Nova Scotia. I mean, basically that whole eastern side is, from my experience as a kid, frigid. I have nothing to talk about. I'm happy to give updates on anything anybody wants to know about. Obviously, I'm still sitting here alone. Nicole's going to try to join us. She did say she'd be out in a little bit. But I don't want to put that pressure on her in case she doesn't. I don't want to keep saying any minute now. It's just been it's been tough. The snow seemed like it would be kind of a fun thing, and it seemed like it would come and go. I think strangely, this is totally between me and you, but I think strangely, us having not made it up to Newcomb's last week, I think has really affected the energy around here. I mean, legitimately, that not getting that dose of nature and all of the kindred spirits of all the folks, the drive, just all of it, getting out there, and we probably won't have it this week either. So I think just emotionally and energetically, it's a little weird over here, having nothing to do with snow.
Not only are you not getting the routine, you've broken the routine, but it's a routine of being grounded quite literally, because when you go out there, you're in a completely different world than the concrete jungle that you normally interact in. Mm-hmm. That place is magical. There's no question. You go up there, just like when you go to a certain forests are like that, or places within nature are like that. And Newcomb's certainly has an energy about it, and you break that. And then also, I mean, I think we should talk about the GoFundMe and things like that. There's a heaviness there. There's stuff going on, and you break these routines. I'm glad we're doing a show tonight. I'm glad we can do a little bit of normalcy. I woke up feeling heaviness. I made sure I did the podcast that I had scheduled today, even though I was totally tempted to let it go and reschedule it.
Well, you had a huge guest today. I can't wait to talk about it. I guess
yeah, it was a great show. It was, but I was like, I felt a heaviness this morning, and it's a lot of people around me are feeling it too.
That's going to be my question. Was your heaviness that you felt, or were you feeling all of the people that you care about's heaviness because you're kind of empathic like that?
Mostly column B, a little bit of my own, because, lots of stuff going on in the Chisholm world. We've got a startup being built out of our house, and we're kind of putting all of our eggs in that basket. But I've also got my financial firm and my side projects too, right? So lots of moving parts, but I would say a quarter of it was my own anxiety, which I can normally spend a little time in the sauna or spend a little time meditating, and I can easily interact with that and keep it at bay. But the other 3/4 of it significantly are people in our life have real stuff going on, and we certainly take that on. Plus, I mean, when you think about empathic creatures, you think about what happened in Turkey. You think about what's happening in the Ukraine. There's stuff going on in the world where there are people that are suffering. And I personally believe that a lot of empathic creatures can feel that and take on that energy as well. So
I think you're right. I think that's a really good point. I wasn't feeling it now so much, but certainly in the past, I know exactly what you mean between political crises in the world and that earthquake was really, I still think about that. Even though it's not on the news here anymore, I know they're still dealing with it, and the loss of life was like astronomical, like unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 40,000 people last time I heard, and I think it was climbing from there.
And children and the whole 9 yards. It's
awful.
It's not. There's no political affiliation or gender or age or race or anything. It's completely indiscriminate destruction, and when that happens to fellow citizens of this planet, there's an energy that goes out from that. And I mean, I certainly, there are other times too, like where like Candy is really in touch with this stuff. And I can think back to times where like Katrina, when Katrina happened in the States, she was in a 2-week just fog from that.
Was she glued to the news and all that, or was it just emotional?
She tried not to be, but it's certainly the moment, even just getting updates on things, feeling like she's a responsible citizen, not being glued to it, but even getting updates though, it would hit her in waves. And there's a book out there called The Empath Survival Guide, and it talks about certain types of emotionally empathic humans. And there's one particular type of empath that, it's a corporate deal. It's the rest of the planet. It's, they're in touch with that. And my wife certainly has that. So yeah.
Well, I think you do too. Or you're connected.
I have it as well. Mine can be very, very focused though. It can be like in the same room with somebody. And this is where I think you and I are similar. Like, boy, can I read a room when it comes to energy? I've just always been really, aware of that stuff. It's not even a skill. I wouldn't even say I'm good at it. It's just an awareness that's there when somebody is really hurt. It's not my skills of observation that tell me that. It's the feeling that goes into my body that tells me that. It's
you feel it everywhere else.
And that's why I'm really glad you guys are having a show. Like I love you guys so much, and routine and being around people who can at least, we can't share what you're going through, but at least there can be presence and awareness of what you're going through alongside of you, so there isn't as much aloneness as there is. So I'm really glad that you decided to do the show today.
I appreciate that. I will say that I think for me personally, and probably her as well, and maybe this is just the human condition, I don't really know, but like you're a good therapist for wanting to do a show today. You know what I mean? Like if I don't go to, I'm not in therapy, but like I am familiar with therapy, and I know how it works fundamentally. And I know that when you don't want to go to therapy is generally when you're supposed to go to therapy, because that's when you've got shit to deal with that you don't want to look at, and that's why you don't want to go and blah, blah, blah. Yep. I feel like there's a little bit of that going on here, but it's not like for us, we're tired of talking to other people about our problems. It's like our problems exhaust us, and then other people want to know because they care, and then you try to tell them, and that's exhausting. And then they generally don't understand, and that's exhausting. And then you leave the interaction feeling totally depleted because not only, like, you'd be better off having not had the interaction at all, because then you would not at least know that that person doesn't get you. And she goes through that all the time. At least if we didn't have the conversation, there's still the possibility that we might align. But the moment she tries to explain something that it's impossible for someone else to understand unless you are in it as much as we are. It's impossible. Yeah. It's not fair. Yeah. It's no one else's fault. But she's left feeling quite alone at the end of those interactions, and that's not everybody. I mean, I don't want anyone to think that we're talking about them. Everyone who cares about her and is great with her, we're so grateful. Let's see here. The Leo 328 wanted updates on the canyon conditions around LA. Closed. Everything's closed. Everything is closed. Period. I mean, it's closed. Hard closed. They're going to turn you around every stop. Not because they don't want you there. You can't be there right now. It's a mess everywhere. If you want to know just the 2 situation and the Angeles National Forest situation, like, the 2 is closed. They have not even gotten up to Newcomb's or to the Christian camp or to any of that stuff yet. The pictures that we posted yesterday, thanks to Tanner, who snowshoed down from the Christian camp 7 miles. Snowshoed 7 miles in 5 to 8 feet deep snow. Of course, he's on top of that. Oh, hang on one second. Timing is everything here. Just 1 second. Put a pin in that story. Remind me where I was. All right. And then I'll put the camera on you.
Here's what I'm curious about when it comes to California. So I've been a Los Angeles Kings fan my entire life, and they've always had a ski hill as a sponsor, and they talk about it. Like when I watch the LA feed of the LA Kings games, they talk about. I'm trying to remember if it's Bear Mountain or Big Bear, whichever ski resort is up there. And I'm curious, like when snow like this is Big Bear, yeah. So when snow like this comes down, as far as it does, I've always been like curious about, okay, so like, is it shut down infrastructure to the point where you can't even go up to that mountain anymore? Hi,
yes.
Nicole.
In this case, because you have to think of it like The Shining. I don't know where you have lived in your entire life. I know you just talked about not being near a lot of snow currently, but just having it snow and then being able to plow and take care of that is one thing. Most places can't do that. Nobody is equipped to handle 8 feet of snow overnight or in 2 days. Nobody. No. Even up where she's from in Rochester with the lake effects, even way out in Canada, wherever, it's just too much. So what we have here is a series of snow and ice and rain with tons of accumulation causing, call it a foot of snow crust, foot of snow crust, foot of snow crust. It's this whole ecological thing that they can't just plow through. Even if it was shallow enough that they could plow. Keep in mind, if they were plowing into 8 feet of snow and the plow is only 4 or 5 feet off the ground, that doesn't work. All of a sudden, you're just driving into a wall of snow. So what they have to do is get front end loaders out, those like bulldozer type things with the buckets on the front and the big gigantic 4 wheels. They pivot in the center of that thing. So they cut a hole through the center by literally scooping some snow out, putting it on the side, scooping some snow out, putting it on the side. They basically have to snow shovel the entire mountain because of the depth. And by the way, I'm talking about 5 to 8 feet just on the road. The drifts are way more. There's parts where like you can't see the Christian camp. You can't see buildings and stuff. So I think the best is to really think of it like The Shining. Except even in The Shining, snowcats could get up the mountain because they were on top of it. A snowcat wouldn't be able to here for the same reason I'm saying the trucks can't and the bulldozers can't. Basically, they can't plow it. They got to dig it out. And once they get that center through, then they can kind of work on it from there. But nature needs to help them with warm weather and water or whatever is going to get it to melt a little bit. Yeah. I foresee this being weeks. I hate to say that. I really hate to say that. But I foresee it being weeks. It's just... They're not even up there yet, and they got more snow yesterday and today. You know, I mean, it's storming up there now.
Wow.
It's just a lot.
Just to clarify, where I'm from, we get snow. Like, we've got a pretty decent we're in a valley, so it's very mild where I am, but a 45-minute drive from where I am, there's world-class skiing. But I do live in the valley, but we do get snow here. It's Vancouver that gets very, very, very little. Where I'm from, it's like, okay, yeah, we've got a whole fleet of sand trucks, and I got friends who work for the city of Kelowna, and it's like, oh yeah, this is where we get our they call it snover time.
Yeah.
And they've got
Me
a whole
too, but
crew
8
that
feet,
go out.
8 feet. Like when I was a kid, it was like 2 or 3 feet was like, wow, that's the storm of the century.
That was a big deal.
Yeah, I've just never experienced this. And we've been up there when it's been snowing and Newcomb's is in the snow and everything. I've just never seen Newcomb's buried in the snow.
Yeah. This is a lot.
The snow is
help
up
the
past
drought in California?
the doors. Say it again?
Will this help the drought in California?
I don't know. I don't want to get political.
Okay.
Everyone has an opinion on that. I think snowpack is good because the water stays here. I think torrential rain is bad because it just falls, messes everything up, and then goes out to sea because we have no containment for it to then filter it and keep that water. So I think that's what seems to be what people are complaining about these days, because we're getting all these torrential rains, and it's going to help the drought like a little bit, but not in the long term. It doesn't get collected anywhere. Snowpack, I think, is different.
Well, up here, snowpack is always a good thing when it comes to that. So I would hope that's the same thing for you guys.
I would hope so too, but I'm also hearing that it's causing more problems because it's so big and deep. You know, they're talking about the snowpack now being the problem because it's more than twice the normal size of what it can be to handle. Like, nothing's good. Everything used to be in moderation. Everything's extreme now. From weather to people's personalities. Anyway, so the 2 is closed, all the way closed. All the other ways up there, closed. Angeles Forest Highway, Big Tahunga, all closed. And Big Tahunga will probably be closed for a very long time because it had mudslides and rock slides in addition to the snow. Hey, look who's here.
Hi, Nicole.
So the Leo, I don't know if that helps you or not, but everything is closed, and Caltrans and the police and U.S. Forest Service, and who else? Wow. I don't know. All the emergency services, Montrose Search and Rescue, SEB, LASD, all of those guys are saying, please stay away. Let us just do our work. I stand by that. It'll still be beautiful in a few weeks. There will be plenty of snow. Such a shame. My friends and I alternate between ACH, Azusa, Glendora, Palomar, and Malibu. Looks like everything is boinked. BOINCKED.
That's a great word.
Yeah. I would lose the C on boinked, but I think it's pretty good. BOINKED, I think, for me. Irene Hoffman, hand pink, waving. Hi, Nicole. I think it's an emoji.
If you look at it, it's an emoji on the thing.
It's an emoji. There you go. And Ryan S says, "Oh no, your mountain's all snowy and junk." So yeah, a lot of snow last week. We did GVBC down at Auto Kennel. That was actually great, other than the drive down to get there, which, by the way, Auto Kennel makes in reverse every single week. Other than the drive to get down there, and the drive back was brutal. But other than the drives, it was wonderful. Great to see everybody. Great open house. Thanks to the Ed for super spread. Your donut spread was...
It was spectacular.
Best I'd ever seen.
Ever.
And then from that point on, we have been at home. We didn't. The weather was an issue, but also so was energy, obviously. And the Rod Emery and Patrick Long thing at Haggerty Garage and Social, we didn't get to do, and we didn't go to Malibu on Sunday either. Which is, I mean, we're bumming if we didn't make it to Malibu. We're really digging that lately. And then yesterday. Same thing. Yesterday may as well have been Sunday. Can't even tell. It's all erased.
It felt like that too.
What next? Snow on the mountain. We covered that. Energy.
You want to talk about the GoFundMe?
Yeah. We should totally do that.
I think we totally should talk about that.
GoFundMe. I still have mixed feelings about GoFundMe, except I'm really, 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 really grateful for it because it has really helped us out in the past and now currently. I think everybody knows our situation, but Nicole has multiple sclerosis. It has been awful. It's been awful for a number of years now, and it's getting worse and worse. And is there anything you want to say about your actual MS and what you're dealing with?
It's just progressing more, and now it's hitting my arms and breathing. It's a nightmare.
Nightmare for you to deal with. I can't imagine.
One thing I will say is that this decline has given me the opportunity to see the difference of mental emotions and intellectual thoughts, and how that's divided, because that's a big thing for my system.
If you cut out the emotional element, is the rest any easier to deal with?
No, because it's all interconnected.
You can't just pull one out.
No, I tried that and it messed me up. So every time I try something, it seems to get worse.
All right, talking about the GoFundMe, I had to write that stuff. Very hard to write this one. I feel it's all over the place. It took me all day to do, on and off, It's very hard to say things are worse, but we have got a great attitude about it, and please help. And it's hard to say that you have this grand idea that's going to make this suffering less for the whole world when it's just making yours more too. And it just, I really struggled to write it all, because every time I wrote with emotion or whatever I was actually feeling, I would look at it and I would be like, that's a mess. No one will understand that. And then I'd have to go, and then I monkey with it and I go, well, I just butchered that, delete the whole thing and start from scratch. And because it was no longer authentic, I erased the authenticity from it. And what you just said is very, very poignant. The more you try, the worse it seems to get. And that's the catch-22 with this foundation, because we started this foundation for a lot of reasons, but the main one being that we had different ideas for the conversation that is multiple sclerosis and autoimmunity diseases. No one knows what causes them or where they're from or whatever, and we have different theories that other people aren't talking about. So that sounds all good and great if we're just going to come up with this alt healing for... You still have to go through all the regular stuff and all the checks and balances of like the regular Western medicine and the neurology and the specialists and all that stuff. And you had gotten here before 5, 6, 7 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, when you were getting shots and that stupid thing when the woman had to come and with the grenade IV and all the different things you were trying. You ended up swearing off Western medicine for a little bit just to get yourself back down to baseline, so you knew where you were and what you were doing. Pot, you would still do the medicinal cannabis. That's it. A year ago, we decided, hey, we should start a foundation. We've got all these ideas. We have to do something, otherwise we're nothing, because we used to be so active. You used to be so insanely active. We started this foundation and we started trying the stuff again. Like, oh, now we're going to the doctors and we're doing the things and they're taking the measurements and they're looking at the stuff. And all of this wears the shit out of her. Every single bit of it. And it's not like it's so weird to say. I'm driving us to the appointments. We're getting in and out of the car and the whole thing. But the actual dealing with the people seems, and the tests and all of the different things seem to really take it out of you, not necessarily that day, but afterward. And it's like, I see why you swore it off in the first place. I see why you wanted to just do things on your own. I really get it. But I also feel like really stuck now that we have to keep doing that, but I'm also watching you decline. And I don't think it's necessarily directly related, but it's hard to not connect dots.
Yeah.
So I guess it was very hard to, so, the foundation needs money. We've got a lot of, fundraisers being developed by insanely awesome people around Los Angeles. You know who you are. Everybody will know who you are soon, but there's some automotive institutions that everybody knows that have been really, really great and will continue to be great. And there's a lot of plans. We've got the paintings and the books and auctions and all sorts of stuff planned. But none of those big plans get you out of your crisis. And it's like, I feel like somehow in the last week or so, we found ourselves in a crisis. Or maybe it's just been for a while. And once it becomes urgent, then we have to look at it.
I feel like the latter's more like what it is. And I don't want to make this about me, but like that, the emotional journey of that last week is tumultuous in my system. So I have to keep everything in check, and that's part of what I was saying of like the real divide of emotion and thought is pervasive and affects everything all the time.
And it's exhausting.
Yeah. To weave all that together to be coherent to anything is exhausting in itself, let alone talking to people, thinking about things you want to think about.
Are you able to do that? Think about things you want to think about and not get too caught up on your other stuff?
It's really slow to right now on my to come up with ideas for stories. That has taken a sharp dive with all the stress of the last few weeks.
And it affects you cognitively as well? Yeah.
Now it does, for sure.
Yeah. Demyelination. If nobody knows what we're talking about, it's called demyelination. I mean, there's a lot of aspects to this, but all the wires get stripped of the coating, their protective insulation. Like imagine what do you call it? Electrician. You know what I mean? And they're working in your walls and they've got all the stuff pulled out. And there's the yellow one, the orange one, the green one, the blue one, the black one, all these different ones. There's 13 yellow ones, actually. One of them has a green stripe, one has a white stripe. There's millions of wires in there, right? In the nerve, whatever you call that, nerve sac, whatever that goes down through the, isn't that what he called it? Right, through your, the nerve bundle, right. Endural sac, whatever it is. I'm thinking of loss. Anyway, imagine the insulation wears off of all of those wires. Now, the wires don't break, theoretically, at first. They're all still there, but the insulation wears away, so they're all kind of touching, and signals jump from one to the other instead. And imagine like you have an old British car with electric problems, right? And you put the windshield wipers on and the turn signal turns, and you try to pop the trunk and the fucking gas door opens. You know what I mean? Like all the weird things that just, that's not what I meant to do. Are you sure you hit the right one? Well, it's labeled that. You know, I put the right window down. Well, then why is the glove box open? You run into that constantly.
Yes, because our bodies have all those indicators like cars. A ton more, but...
all the little lights and things, sensors.
Yeah. And
to keep you in check.
My job, that's usually automatic, and now it's not for me, so I have to manually look at everything constantly.
You talk about even breathing swallowing's been an issue for a while. You talk about even breathing becoming an issue. Do you have to like tell yourself to breathe? How does that work? Or is it just hard to breathe?
It's hard, and I find myself stopping, so I do have to remind myself.
Yep. I know what you mean on that one.
Again, it sounds hokey, but like in band, we learned how to do that to hold notes longer. And swimming, I was underwater for a lot for a butterfly. Like, you have to train your body, so I'm falling back on some of that.
I'm with you too. Like a sniper holds their breath before they take the shot. An artist will sometimes hold their breath while they're drawing a fine line. I do those things as well. Well, the artist part, not the. So I know what you mean, how you sort of lean on that. I also find that once, like if I'm ever not in the best shape of my life, believe it or not, that happens. I find that sometimes I'll hold a breath just to kind of like it's keeping my shape. It's holding me up, and I find that wait, I'm not using my muscles to hold me up. I'm using the air in my lungs. And I go, wait a second, you should probably do a couple sit-ups there, buddy. Not telling you to do that. Does that come into play at all, where you're kind of holding it almost to support yourself physically?
It did, yes, until I lost the energy to hold myself up, even with that help. Wow. So I don't do that anymore.
Aren't you glad you asked, Mike?
It's gotten heavy. You have to find the positive. So I will calm down and write this shit out. I have the ideas and the star and some of the names. Like, it's all there. So soon.
I don't believe hard truths should be ignored. And that's one of the things that I love about you two. So, hey, did I ever tell you the story about how I fell in love with Mercedes?
No. Knock, knock.
So my dad.
That was hilarious.
This
hang on. Before you tell it, Chance Mitchell says, thankful to catch another live show with all three of you, sending all the love and strength through the screen. Thanks, Chance Mitchell. And then also, Jeff Walker gives some hearts. Thank you, Jeff Walker. Okay. How did you fall in love with Mercedes? I've always wanted to know.
So I'm a little kid, and this is relevant, by the way. I'm a little kid, man. And my dad, one of his best friends, owns an auto body shop. And he's an old German guy named Rolf, R-O-L-F. And a
proper German auto body guy.
All of the people there, I mean, all of the Germans in town that had German cars that needed them worked on, they went to Rolf just out of probably geographic allegiance, I would think. Mm-hmm. So my dad would go down there in the evenings and hang out with his buddies, not unlike, you and Sean hanging out, tinkering on things and whatever. My dad would help, and they would all take trips fishing together and things. Well, one day this old German guy named Eckhart shows up, and he takes a look around Rolf's shop, and he says, "Okay, I want to choose you to restore my car." And it's a 1955 Gullwing. So I'm all of 10 years old, and I have never seen a car like this before. It might as well have been a spaceship.
Yep.
And my dad decided to help out in the restoring of this car. And so one of the things that they did was they took the entire thing apart, and the electronics of the Gullwing was way before its time. And so all the wirings that came out of the dash, when they took the dash apart, and there were dozens of them, I saw them. And my dad would take a piece of masking tape and put it around each wire, describing what it was.
Yeah, label it.
And or what it was for. Mm-hmm. Well, my dad comes in one day, and Eckhart had shown up. And he had taken all of the pieces of tape off of the wires so he could clean the wires.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
And because and my dad was beside himself because this car, even though it was a 55, was technologically so far ahead of any other vehicle out there. And it was very complex, and there wasn't a lot. There's no internet or anything like that. There weren't a lot of manuals showing you these things, and that masking tape made a big deal.
And it's only done by the factory once.
There you go. So as a kid, I've got pictures of me behind the wheel of this 55 Gullwing, and it's just it leaves such an impact when you're that age, of course. So that star has always had a place in my life. I love Mercedes-Benz because of that experience and watching my dad and being there. But I remember my dad's reaction to not knowing what all of those wires did. And I think about what Nicole's going through right now, and it's almost like every little switch that you're trying to push, whether it's your right hand, whether it's your cognitive thought, whether it's your breathing, all of these things, there are all these wires that are unlabeled for you right now. And as you're describing what she's going through, that was the first thing that kind of came to my mind.
It's perfect if your dad put that thing back together without figuring it out. He just, this one to this one, this one to this, and then whatever. The only difference is all of those wires still have their insulation. So while they will do different things, you're not going to get a whole lot of fritzing and cross traffic and like this one does a bunch of stuff and like electrical jumps and stuff like that. She deals with all of that constantly because there is no myelin, no insulation.
Man.
And I mean, it's sometimes just, yes, this doesn't work that, and this doesn't do what I thought it was. But also sometimes it sends electric shocks down her. Sometimes it sends pain down her. I mean, you're always in pain, but like sometimes more significant. It's such a confusing son of a bitch of a illness that like, I don't know what anybody's doing to figure it out. Like, I'm not trying to start a vendetta or an anger, it's hate mail against doctors, but I can't figure out what they're looking at when what they're looking at isn't it. So why wouldn't they look somewhere else? I don't understand it. And it's almost like all of the ego attached to like, no, it's the physical body and that's my domain and it's not here and it's not there. they won't acknowledge that, like, oh, maybe part of it's trauma based, like we've talked about. Maybe it's, Muhammad Ali got it. He used to get punched a lot in the fucking head. You used to play hockey and do a lot of other physical sports. Like maybe that's a connection. Maybe what is the football thing with the, when you get concussed, maybe concussions, they leave there long term. Maybe something like that. We tend to believe there's a trauma and an emotional component as well. And it's most likely like Tim Burton's Batman, where it's not just one thing. It's actually a combination of 3 or 4 different things. You got to use the hairspray and the body wash and the whatever, and then you turn into the Joker. I don't know. I'm not saying that we have answers. We don't have any, or we would be better. But it is interesting that other people aren't looking in certain places, They like to talk about diet. I think diet is a big one, but it's not the only component. It's not the only component. We've changed your diet a number of different times, and nothing has worked. Nothing has really fixed anything. I think fresher and healthier foods are definitely better than processed shit, obviously, but that goes for all of us.
Yeah, that's pretty basic.
I don't know. It's a weird one. I don't like talking about it. This is the thing. I have to either get used to talking about it and become that guy, or like I can't be the one who talks about it. This is definitely a transitional period. That's kind of why I didn't want to do the show today. I didn't feel good about it. I didn't know who to be. I don't know who to be. I'm just myself with you, but like you usually like to have something to say and what the we're pushing good vibes and things like that. I don't know how I feel today. I'm mad. I'm mad at the world. I'm mad at God. I'm not mad at you for not getting better, but like I'm just mad at everything, and I'm sad and I'm hurt that it's taking this long and that it's not getting better, and that we're putting every bit of energy and effort into every different endeavor that we have, and that, it's a slow process. Normally that stuff doesn't get me down because I know internally I see our long game and I know we'll get there. But when there's all this other stuff that helps other stuff that just wears you out and wears you down, I felt like today was just too much for me, and I didn't want to do it. And that's the honest truth. And now here I am almost crying about it.
But that's why it's important to do a show, buddy. Like,
I guess, but what have we figured out so far? Maybe we will by the end.
Yeah,
but right now I don't feel like I feel like I'm just whining about our problems to people.
It's not a puzzle to be solved in that regard. It's not a matter of figuring things out. It's a matter of again, I go back to it's okay to not be okay. It sucks to feel helpless. And, when you're not okay and you're feeling helpless, it's really good to have people around you who love you and care for you, who know that at least, where even if they're helpless, they can at least be there with you. And that's important. That. And the good vibes don't exist without the shit. There's a reason why you have this good vibes revolution that the two of you, this awakening, this enlightenment that you have when it comes to where you were versus where you are. It doesn't exist without the shit. And if you're in the shit right now, at least you're not alone.
You're definitely right about that. Anybody I know in the world who has an attitude even similar to mine has gone through a lot of stuff, usually when they were young. For me, it was when I was really young. And then I don't know, you're different. You're different than other people. You're different than your friends that you grew up with. And then therefore, because of that separation, you're different than everybody for the rest of your life. But for me anyway, that's what it was. I don't know. Everybody's going through shit. And that's why I hate talking about ours. I like talking about other people's shit so we can help them through it. That's where I get off. I get off finding out what your problems are and how I can help, especially if it's in a way that you didn't see coming. Because that's, to me, what we're all about. Like, not just us two, but everybody, all of us. That's how I feel anyway.
See, you took the words out of my mouth. I was about to say, I see how you act and react when people in your life are going through stuff. So now it's reciprocal, but things like whatever causes that resistance in you, even if it is exhaustion that you don't want to talk about it, But this is exactly how you would be to someone in your life who is going through something like this, though, too. And so we got to learn to accept that stuff. My opinion.
I don't disagree with you. I agree with all of that, except that this is a chronic condition, and it's not like we always have this problem. So people who know us for a week, they're going to hear about this problem. People who know us for 5 years, they're going to hear about this problem for 5 years. That to me is like, I'm sick of when I'm down and I don't have, and I'm not like, I'm not, my coffers aren't full. I don't want to talk about it. And then I think about other people who I know or their coffers aren't full because they're dealing with whatever the fuck. And then I think, why the hell why would we put our thing on them? I mean, it's just too much. If it's too much for us and we are equipped to handle this, how the hell could anybody else deal with it? I guess is maybe I don't know.
That's very considerate of you, but it's whoever's choice, just like it's your choice, because you're still going through stuff, yet I've still seen you remarkably generous in spirit and action and words and kindness, even though you've been going through this, maybe not as extreme or specific as it is right now, but ever since the day that I met you, you've been going through this, yet I've seen you go through seasons of making the choice to also be there for other people. And that's your choice to do that, even though your coffers aren't necessarily full at home. And I think that there's probably wisdom in that, because when you help others, it makes you feel better and able to deal with your situation better. But also it's a what goes around comes around thing, and it's who you are when it goes around. So now it's who you are where it comes around. And if your identity gets remixed into this because it's permanent, so be it. People are going to make their own choice. I know I ain't leaving you, and I know there's probably a legion of people who are either watching right now or will be watching that feel the exact same way. I'm looking at how many people are buying badges on Insta tonight.
Really?
I'm thinking about, early adopters of this GoFundMe already. You got people around who, even if their coffers aren't full, they're still there for you, just like yours are for others. So
I appreciate it, man. I mean, that's the thing is, what I said in there about the gratitude and the people and the thank you, and how much help and support has come, not just financially. That is huge and very helpful, but like emotional, advisory, legal advice. I mean, just legal, like all of these things, they're just not our specialty. So we are so grateful for the help. I guess I'm just tired. I like to have energy for the show so that I can give it to people. Yep. And I didn't have it today. Maybe that's the truth. Maybe that's what it is, and I didn't realize it. I know you don't.
Tonight's isn't that kind of show, but that's okay too. If Magnus was sitting there, I guarantee you'd have that though too. So maybe your defenses are down because they don't need to be up right now.
Say it again. If we had a guest in the chair.
I was saying, like, if Magnus was there right now, it would be a completely different show, because he would be flooding you with his energy and all that kind of stuff. And suddenly the tone of the show would probably be a little bit different than it is right now. But this is a show where you don't have to have your defenses up. It's just like a community show. Like let's just let the community do its thing. And, it gets you to the point where you're doing something, you're distracting yourself a little bit, even if it's just minutely from what you were doing.
You're definitely right about that. The distraction is actually awesome. I didn't think about that until you said it.
Really big, important part.
Yeah, thanks for that, honestly. Because even if it's just an hour or so that we're sitting here, it's an hour or so that I'm not laying on the floor or whatever the heck, going, what do we do?
There's some supportive things coming through on the YouTube right now, just so you know.
Oh, thank you. And then also, I don't want to paint a terrible picture. Like, shy of the weight that we're feeling currently, there are so many good things coming up for both of us. Like, I don't want to lose sight of that. I don't want everyone to think that we're so depressed and it's so dark that we can't see out of our tunnel to see those beautiful things. Totally. It's just, when you're in that place, it seems like it's a version of depression. I feel like as an adult, I'm able to curb whatever I used to get as childhood depression or whatever. I usually can handle it, but this is definitely a version of it, I think. Where just you're down and you can't, you know all the right things, but you just can't. It's not helping you feel better, even though you go through the motions and you get up every day and you take a shower. Like all the stuff he's talking about showing up. I've been showing up. You've been showing up. I don't know. All right, so I don't want to think let everyone think that we're losing sight of the good things. There are a lot and a lot and a lot of good things. Okay.
I don't think anybody thinks that. We all know you pretty good, and we're all pretty smart. Lots of good comments on the Instagram as well, buddy.
All right, Darren Cox. Hey guys. Hey you guys. Sclerosis in Greek means hard. Scleros. Do you know the connection to the name of the illness?
No.
I mean, yeah.
Lots of hard.
In this case, sclerosis.
Hard.
In this case, they're lesions in the brain, and this is how the medical professionals would explain it. The Western medical professionals, lesions in the brain and spinal cord, and all of the things that make up her nerve system. What do you call it? The central nervous system. Yep. It's degeneration of the central nervous system. Boy, why the hell did I start talking about that? Oh, yeah. So that's what the sclerosis is anyway. Does it maybe come from that?
There's a lot of ideas. I think all this...
No, I mean the name. That she means the name.
I know. There's a lot of different ways that doctors think about that, and that's what gets written. So it's hard to talk to people because we have different verbiage for everything.
And we're coming up with our own as well. I have a question for you from Kayla. Is she the car girl? Yeah, she's the car girl. How do you cope with something no one can see, she just feels? How can you cope with something that no one else can see, you just feel? It's a great question. She's dealing with her own stuff right now.
Distraction is huge. Like, I kind of am like Neil Barton in that I don't get high. I love smoking pot, but it's distractionary because if I'm not doing anything else, all I think about is how much I hurt. Mm-hmm. And that's not fun. And then when do I need to go to the bathroom and deal with stone? Like, it's really small and makes me crazy because there's not a lot to think about.
And it's a constant cycle. Like, it's not, oh, this is just today. This is today, tomorrow.
All the time.
Let's see. Autokennel says, I appreciate you. Autokennel, I love you. I thought you were gone already. I appreciate you sharing with all of us. You put on such a happy face, and we know there's immense pain. We know that there's immense pain that most can't relate. My heart always goes out to both of you. I love you, Autokennel. You're a great friend. Sorry.
He's also on the Instagram buying multiple badges right now.
Great friend. Sorry. Stay strong. We're here for you. It's important to vent. Amen to that. Dude, I have so much shit right now. Well, that's good. Do you need a distraction too, Ryan? But I'm still standing. Yeah. Exactly right. What Autokennel said. Oh, you guys. Too much. Nobody expects you to be always on. Thanks, buddy. To quote a hero of a lot of us, Mr. Rogers, there is no normal life that is free of pain. It is the very wrestling with our problems that can be the impetus for our growth. Oh, beautiful, Chance Mitchell. Thank you for that. Always good to quote Mr. Rogers.
On the Insta, Poor Driver says PORDRVR. So
That's
Poor
Teresa.
Driver. There you go. It's, taking the energy we could give back to you.
You guys are the best. I'm so sorry that emotionally I can't handle it. Love you so much. Wow, they really are buying badges. That's so cool. Thanks, you guys. That's amazing.
I would submit that you are dealing with it. That you are handling it.
I appreciate your submission. We both feel like we're failing.
Yeah.
The whole point of it, was we want to be strong for everybody, and we're usually pretty good at it, to the point where people think that we're too strong, that things aren't bad. I don't know. Crazy day. I didn't expect to be crying on the air with you all tonight. You're supposed to be crying. You're supposed to be crying. I'm not supposed to be crying. It's your job to cry.
I'm so tired of being such a crybaby all the time for myself. It's just not helpful.
Is that you beating yourself up, or is that you actually strengthening and getting over your own stuff? Like, is that you overcoming? Sounds a little bit like that.
It's more that I truly believe that you can't, no one can have any reaction to something they don't have in them. So it doesn't make sense to me personally to emit tears and sadness because I don't want different, but I don't want to emote sadness about my own situation. It's not beneficial to anyone. I want to talk to anyone interested in talking about what can be done, but I don't want to talk at people and educate people about what they can read.
Right. That won't be your job. That'll be somebody else that sends all the links onto the website and everything. But luckily, you won't have to handle that.
Everyone wants it to be mine now, though, and I'm not good at handling anything that's not easy.
Yeah.
So I'm teaching myself that too.
The irony is you're not really good at handling anything that isn't not easy. If it's not wicked complicated and no one else can do it, like if it's something that anyone else can do, you're like, would you go take care of that? What the heck? I'm a specialist. Why on earth are you bothering me with this? Do you know what I used to handle? That's what I think, because you were actually like wicked complex.
Yes, and now I'm facing all the simple stuff that I have no idea how to approach. So I have to learn everything like everyone does. I just can't remember anything, so I have to learn things over and over and tell myself to relax.
Yeah,
because I'm not good at that.
That's a weird one, how the hi, I'm Tom element comes in, because you have all of your old memories, all of them. If you want to know about a work trip or a client this or a family this or a, I can't think, whatever. You've got all of that locked in. Like, and you'll go down details.
Yeah, and yes, I've done a lot of looking at that. And everything that I remember really well is tied to an emotion somehow.
So it's, wow. So you've got emotional file cabinets back there that things are tucked in instead of like an alphabetical list.
Correct.
Oh.
And I've lost a lot of my intellectual informational faculties. It's all, a lot of it's there, but
it's all in there.
Stored wrong.
Yes. Do you remember High Fidelity?
Yeah.
Remember when he's reorganizing his records and he's like, what are you doing? Alphabetical, chronological, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, autobiographical. And the guy's like, his head explodes. He's like, can I help? Like, that's such a genius idea. It's kind of the same thing. Like, you just sorted in your own way where to put things and how to log them.
Yes, I just have to get comfortable with the fact of not being relatable to anyone. I've been finding that reality for years, and the truth is, I just don't make sense. So if I stop trying to make sense to people that I don't make sense to, it frees up a lot of energy I don't have spares of.
Amen. That's awesome. I like that you got your workarounds. You do whatever's good for you.
I have to.
Amen. I appreciated the laugh. I needed it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Somebody wants to be in the video. I don't know who that is. I can't.
There's lots of Instagram stuff.
Here, let me see if I can. Look at the old man. Get the old. The one with, oh no, geez, I bet it needs a battery. For fuck's sake. Plug it in, old man. Plug in your iPad, old man. Maybe I can.
Kevin Patrick Goulet says, I can't always watch the live show, but often jump in, even if it's just for a few minutes to hear Nicole's laugh and see her beautiful smiling face. I mean, how many times have we heard that? I mean, I've been hanging out with you guys for about a year. How many times have we heard somebody talk about Nicole's laugh or Nicole's smile? When Candy and I were on the show, that was the first thing Candy beelined for, and Nicole gave her the biggest smile and laugh. Like, it's funny how just the little things sometimes contradict that statement that you were just talking about, Nicole. Everyone relates with that fucking laugh and that smile. So,
did you read the whole GoFundMe?
Yeah.
Did I include that? Because there was a draft where I included the laugh.
I thought it was there.
Okay, good. I couldn't remember if I had erased it or not. It was definitely there at one point, saying that your laugh and your smile were definitely still going strong, and that a lot of days that was what would carry us through, because all I have to do is say something stupid or do something stupid to get the laugh, and then we both become buoyant off of the laugh. And it's a weird thing that sounds so stupid. But when your currency is energy,
come on.
You all right over there? Oh, look at that. There we go. Let's make some more room. Wow, look at you. I know you've been posting that you've been doing a lot of work, but look at you. She's been in the gym and a lot of other stuff too. Ooh. Plus, it looks like you've been to a stylist. This is their anniversary, everybody. If we didn't say it yet, this is the anniversary of these two lovely kids. I guess technically yesterday, but you're celebrating today, and you're going out to dinner, right?
Well, it doesn't exist. We got married on February 29th. So.
Oh, that's right.
He thought he could get away with one every 4 years, but
that's smart.
Tricks on him. It's 2 days.
We're going to a French restaurant, everybody.
Didn't think that one all the way through.
We love you guys. I'm so this is the other thing. You're supposed to be gone already doing your dinner, and you're here hanging out. I forgot.
It's okay. It's okay. We get another couple minutes, but
I'm supposed to look there.
Yeah, you looked there. Yeah,
I was looking all over the place.
I know. It's okay.
I'm not professional.
It's so great to have her in the studio.
Yeah.
So good to see you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you both so much.
Aww.
So much.
You look great.
Yeah, you really do. Your lighting has gotten quite good in that studio there, buddy. You've played with things. Your placement, it all looks very good.
Yeah, notice he doesn't say that when it's me on camera twice a week. It's when the angel shows up. That's when the lighting looks good. I think it has something to do with who's behind the lighting. Wow. She's the one that's looking good.
Stop.
Yeah, well, we know how that goes.
I should show my bicep here. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Love you guys.
Where are you guys going for dinner?
It's a place called Bouchon. It's a nice, really nice French restaurant here in
You don't say.
You don't say.
It's Australian
a really
food.
Great German restaurant.
They serve crocodile. I think Bouchon is isn't that is that a chain? Is it like
we have one in Beverly Hills.
We do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go to that one.
Yeah, we should go to that one.
Maybe we have reservations there. Are you surprising me with the trip?
Okay. No.
When are you guys going to come down again? I mean, there's a few things coming up that we could potentially give you a reason to come, but I mean, I think you might have your own reasons to come soon, right?
As soon as humanly possible.
Yeah.
I'd be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Honestly.
All right. So tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
We don't really need that much of a reason.
29th.
You guys are there.
February 29th.
It's not till next year.
We want to be there before then, if possible. Yeah. No, we love Kelly so much. Even the other day, I said, when the Bronco shows up, we could maybe take 2 weeks trip. And do a big old road trip.
Happy anniversary, Irene. Mike and Candy.
Thanks, Irene.
Yeah, we were thinking about toying with the idea of driving the Bronco down there.
That would be wicked cool, because then you would have it while you were here, which would be amazing for both your photos and just the journey. I mean, that would be a hell of an Instagram journey for the Letterman podcast, because you could probably do interviews while you were in town. Does everyone make this? Does everyone hear that? I mean, like, why not get together with all the LA folks that are here? At the very least, you got, I don't know, everybody, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a pile of them.
Steve O'Donnell, I'm thinking of, was the one that came to mind. But I mean, there's a lot of Letterman people still here.
Oh, so many. And so many that we've already even said. Like even today, Jeff Martin, like Dave Rogalski. I mean, so many people live in LA that we've said the next time I'm down in LA, let's do coffee, let's do something. So, and I love the idea of having a panel of us all together. If only we had a place where we could, host a podcast like that. Hey, wait a second.
Just the best
you wanna-
studio in LA.
This is always available to you, but if it's something big like that, we like to go out of the studio and do bigger things than this little thing we have here. So whatever's best for you, but we can always provide a venue, be it here or
we
in
just made a trip.
someplace larger.
I think we just made a trip. Look at that. Thanks for inspiring us, guys, even when, you're not feeling the greatest.
Aw, you're the best. You guys are the best. Happy
Yeah.
anniversary. How many years is it?
11.
Well, 2.5.
He's still trying to get away with it.
2 and a
notice?
quarter.
2 3/4.
That's hilarious.
1-1.
Yeah. 11 years today.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
I mean, should we let you go? Is there anything else to talk about? I feel depleted. I'm happy that Candy came in and saved it at the end.
Yeah. Nicole came and saved it when you and I started. Then Nicole came and saved it, and now Candy came and saved it. There's a pattern there.
The women do the heavy lifting. What are we going to say?
I was crying earlier. It wasn't Mike. It was me.
Oh, my heart. Okay. Safe space.
Yeah.
Safe space.
See? This whole thing is a safe space. Everybody here is a safe space.
All right. Well, I love you guys. Have a great anniversary. I don't know what to say. You know what? The truth is, I think Thursday, I'm pretty sure we're here. I think, isn't it Reggie Watts on Thursday? So, I mean, it's a big week on that front.
There's a torrent of beautiful energy that'll be in the studio that day. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think so. Isn't that March 2nd? Wasn't that when he was coming in?
Yeah.
That's March
March
2nd. Yeah.
There we go. And that's it. So that'll be fun. Tune in on Thursday with Reggie Watts. In the meantime, we know you have many options for your viewing pleasure. Thank you for choosing for your viewing entertainment. Thank you for choosing this. Late Night Playset is brought to you by the Autoimmunity Foundation. The AIF is supported by viewers like you. To make a financial contribution or to learn more about the AIF, please visit the autoimmunityfoundation.org. Just autoimmunityfoundation.org. There's a GoFundMe on all of our social media platforms that we just put up today that we would appreciate help with. I don't know what to say. Put it up for a reason, obviously. But check it out. Share it. And any amount is helpful. Every dollar counts. It's not, I feel like TBS or whatever, Channel 13. Every dollar counts. We don't have tote bags yet, but we're working on it. Perhaps there'll be a VHS of This Old House we'll throw in. We'll see. Old people get these jokes. Kids are like, what?
Yeah.
It was never enough time to turn this on. Did I get to the stuff on the Instagram? Because this never hit. Did I get whatever you wanted me to get on the Instagram?
Yeah, there's just lots of
these
love.
amazing, awesome people. Thanks, everybody. But we're done, right? We've done it.
Thanks.
All right. Back with Reggie Watts on Thursday. Adam Ferrara at the Marconi on April 1st. We'll be there too. Motoring Club April 15th. Fundraiser, 5th anniversary party, and TV taping April 15th. Your only this is the fun stuff. Your only source for officially licensed Late Show with David Letterman merchandise is the Hello Deli. None of this is from them. Here we go.
There you go.
Go to the hello-deli.com. Say hello to Rupert. Tell him that Nicole says hello also, because oftentimes...
I cannot.
That's right. We'll open. You know what? We'll do this stuff on Thursday. But Maddie McQueen, granddaughter of Steve McQueen, daughter of Chad McQueen, who you all know from Karate Kid and many other things, sent some stuff. I think we'll open this properly on Thursday. But I think that's what this other stuff is from. Euphoria, but they spelled it differently. All right,
Awesome.
Euphoria. Cool. Maddie McQueen.
Thanks for doing a show when you didn't feel like it, guys. We love you very much.
Thank
Love
you, guys.
you.
All right. See everybody Thursday with Reggie Watts. Have a great night. Thanks for being part of this crazy, wild ride. We love everybody. I love you. We love all of you. You guys up there and everybody at home. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for loving us. Next time.